Guys, what's happening? Sorry to keep everybody waiting. I see the comments in the weight room. Gershon's having a little bit of technical difficulty. I promise you that he is here. He's coming on. He got the old, you fire up your computer and it says it's going to update for the next 20 minutes. What Gershon doesn't know is that I have gone live.
Maybe all right, we're good. Okay. I know now.
You can hear me. I hear you.
I can hear you. Okay.
All right. Usually I do a show intro, but what we're going to do is a little sound check. How's your volume?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to pretend like 3, 2, 1. Boom. It's 8 o'clock on the East Coast. Welcome to Proper Royals Live. We got Gershon in the studio tonight. And
hey, everybody.
You know, we were talking offline. Gershon's one of those names that comes up in the hobby left, right, and center. And I was like, I used to kind of like nod slowly. I was like, yeah, I think I know him. Well, I didn't know him. And then like I kept hearing his name. I was like, that's it. I'm going to go meet this guy. And he's on the show tonight. So we will talk about hosting shows on YouTube. He's also been on YouTube over 10 years, coming up on 400 videos. Over 1,000 subscribers, and he's on a ton of platforms. I want to get into his business models tonight. I want to learn about this staying power because I've been at it about a year. You've been at it about 10 times as long. So we're going to learn about that. I'm going to hit the music. Gershon, you ready to go?
Ready to go.
Let's do this thing. Stick around, everybody. All right. Gershon, tell us about yourself. I just made it with the intro. I made it sound like everybody knows you. Obviously, I didn't know you so recently. So tell us about yourself. Tell us what you got going on.
So like you said, I have been on YouTube for like 10 years, but I've only been really posting ball python stuff for the last maybe 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
I was on YouTube like everybody else, just looking at everybody's stuff, doing research, learning what I did want in the reptiles, like iguanas, lizards, green tree pythons, learning about them before I actually got my first one. And just saw ball pythons and just got really excited and started learning how to breed them, take care of them, and fell into the hobby and learned you can kind of make this a business. So that's the process now. I'm trying to make it into a business, but still enjoy it. That's the one thing I want to make sure I still have fun with it. And when it becomes too much work, it's not fun anymore. So who wants to do that?
You know, secretly, that was part of why I wanted you on the show, too. I was like, this guy's going to be fun. Well, you have a really good time on your shows. Guys, if you haven't seen Gershon's shows, check them out. And let me make sure I type this right. I'm going to post this up here real quick. It's GPSnakes. And what platforms are you GPSnakes on? Is that is that your name, everything?
Everything. If you put GPSnakes into Google, I come up. You'll find Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch now. You'll find it. It's all over.
All right. Very cool. So, guys, if you are regular viewers of my show, which I see a lot of you, and thank you all very, very much for being here. I'm always humbled by the names I see come up. Go check out Gershon's platforms and content and do the likes and the subscribes. It really does help, believe it or not. And I know it sounds silly, but sometimes it's just mental fuel in the tank. But when you're at the point where Gershon's at, where you're at 1,100 subscribers, like that momentum is where the monetization starts. So it's even more important for him. Like for me, it's just gas in my tank to keep going kind of thing. But that's a little different situation for Gershon. So help him out. Plus, he's a good guy in this industry, man. He's hosting a lot of people. You stay busy. How many what's your live stream schedule?
I do a live once a week. Usually on Fridays. I started at first trying to do every other week. And then I just realized, like, I want to talk to people. and I like had fun with it. I like doing it. Also, it let me get to know people in the hobby. It made me have to get outside my box and get people as guests. So I had to talk to them. So that's I know a lot of people don't believe me, but I'm very much an introvert. So I love just being in the house. So this is making me get outside of my box and have to communicate and learn people and talk to people. So that was another positive I got from the live. It made me more of social butterfly in the community, which does help along the road.
I think it's a huge benefit. Good for you for realizing that and acknowledging it. I've brought up before that this, the perception, I don't know about your experience, but my experience, the perception is kind of like people roll their eyes. Oh, you got some show on YouTube. Oh, you got this little snake hobby thing. Oh, man, all you talk about is snakes from time to time. What people don't understand is whether any of that is accurate or not, which is not, but whether any of it's accurate or not, the overlap into my day job, my real job that does pay my bills is huge. This is an exercise. This is a masterclass education-wise. I'm not saying I'm giving a masterclass. This whole experience is my masterclass learning of advertising and growing and reaching people in this current modern age. It's not even about doing it in the future. This is what's happening right now. I always make jokes about advertising in magazines and billboards. It's dead. It is over. This is the platform. I hear people talk about, I'll just tell you at the place where I work, we spend $16,000 a year to advertise weddings in a magazine with 160 other competitors in it. I don't want competitors in my space. And if I do, I only want one. I only want GERSHON in my space tonight. And else he can go back to his space. And I'm joking on that part. But it's $16,000 that we spend. I say it's my department. I spend it. But this is what we should be doing. Could you imagine $16,000 worth of a young intern coming out of school that's passionate about this stuff and building a community of future brides? That's how we should be selling weddings, in my estimation. But that's what this experience teaches me. And to your point, it's something I didn't intend to be learning that I think that you're experiencing similarly with getting out of the introverted shell and finding a comfortable way to reach new people. And I think that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, I can understand why they used to advertise that way in magazines and stuff like that, because that's where people got their ass from. But we're in a whole new day and age where advertising is TikTok now. That's where people learn about stuff, is TikTok.
I like watching, I'm a sucker, and I know it's a cliche, but I love watching Shark Tank. And to see season over season, I mean, just this season, there's such a new focus on the sharks saying, you should be on TikTok making 2 videos a day. You should be on YouTube building a community. They don't want to hear about advertising dollars that you got to spend anymore. The customer acquisition cost is, it's time, it's effort, but financial, it ain't there. It's much lower. It's such a great time to be an entrepreneur. It's a neat time. It's just, speaking of entrepreneurial stuff and really snake stuff, give us some stats about your business, your hobby, your brand of, what's your breeding stock like? What are you producing? I won't give a spoiler. You just produced a killer snake. I think you said you've been working at it like 7 years, man. Give us the build up to it, man, because it's killer.
So my breeding stock is mostly albino and clown right now. Slowly working into other recessives. I either have 1 or 2 of them already, breeding them, making double heads, because the market is going towards double recessive morphs and almost triple recessive morphs almost at this point. So I'm trying to stay in line with that, but also carve my own path. I love albino, so that's why most of my collection has albino gene in it somewhere, and I always will work with it. It's a gene that got me very excited about ball pythons.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm at, I think, about 32 females, and 25 of them are breeding females.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you got it. That's good for you. All right, so you're cranking out some animals.
I'm trying to. I mean, like they say they're animals, so they decide if they're gonna go or not. All you can do is clean feed and throw a male in there and hope for the best. So that's what I do.
How many clutches did you have this past season?
This past season was the most clutches I've ever had. Was 6 total. I had 7 all together, but one was a fully slugged out clutch, so I don't really count that one. But that's the most clutches I've had in one season was 6. And the most babies this year too was I'm probably gonna miss 2 or 3 babies, but I think I had 28 to 30 babies.
Sure.
This year.
Yep.
So that's something I wasn't. Not that I wasn't prepared for, but I actually had to sit back and think about, like, hold on, that is a lot of babies to take care of on top of your huge collection. Let me make sure that this is the route I want to go with this, because I wanted to have like 50 breeder females and breed them yearly and see how it goes. But if all 50 or even more than half of those girls go, that's a lot of babies to take care of on top of those 50 breeder females and maybe the 10 or 12 breeder males that I'm holding on to.
Yeah, I had that exact experience hit me in the face this year. And it's actually something speaking of, Kai just joined the show or joined the audience, Lucas Landon.
Hey, Kai.
And, that was something Kai and I talked about when he was on the show was you got to figure out how to get efficient real fast, because you go from thinking you got it down to one day in the summertime, you ain't got it down. You ain't got a social life. You ain't doing anything, and you're losing sleep because you feel like you got a baby at home all of a sudden. Because instead, that was only with 2 clutches with me. Now, my first year out of the gate, I my efficiency improved incredibly because I started going, all right, I need to reorganize this. I need to have all my tools in the right place. I need to have my rhythm going. And, so there are ways to improve it. But, yeah, you're right, man. You get hit with 15 new mouths to feed on 2 clutches, and you had 4. So, you can start going, what happened? Not to mention how much they eat, sourcing your feeders and all of that. You got some fast responsibility that pops up,
Yeah, and Kai brought up a point on my show where he was like, don't think about how many animals you can take care of when you're healthy. Think about the number of animals you can take care of when you're sick. And that opened up my thought process about, like, oh, maybe I really should really think about how many animals I want to produce within a season that I can take care of. Because if I get sick, I'm the only one that take care of my animals. My wife, she makes sure I have time downstairs so she takes care of the kids when I need to. So I can come downstairs and take care of the animals. But I'm the only one in the room taking care of everything. And I've yet to. My son helps with videos. He doesn't help cleaning anything.
Right? Yeah. How old's your son?
He's 7. He's 7.
Okay. And is that Judah that we see in the videos?
Yep,
sometimes?
that's Judah. Yep.
My son Charlie, he wants to be on camera. He wants the attention. He wants to interrupt. Doesn't want to clean one bit. No, not at all.
Always ready to cut an egg, but never ready to scoop some poop.
That's exactly right. Yeah, he's always. We made a deal. I can't remember if it was for Christmas or his birthday, or maybe he got really good grades. But I agreed to go make his either present or reward. Basically, I forget what it was. We were either going to go somewhere, or for that amount of money I was going to spend, I told him we could go in on a snake together with, and we're breeding that snake now. So he'll tell every person out there that he owns the damn snake. He never once, bit of that snake's poo. I'll tell you that much.
Of course. Course.
So
just so you guys know, I can't see the comments because I had to do it on my phone. My computer had to reset. I believe you talked about that. So if you're here, thanks for coming through. I've told a couple people I was going to be on. So if you guys came, thanks for coming through. Um, I'll try to check the comments when I can. I can't see them that well. So
So, one new face for sure is Main Squeeze Reptiles. They
yeah,
certainly know of you. I'm guessing you know them, but they
that's my
say,
rat guy.
oh, okay. He says repeatedly, Enchi Enchi. I think he's commented
Yes.
about Enchi 3 times. So tell me about this Enchi connection because, and I'll tell you my end of it as well.
So that is my favorite codon. So I plan to put Inchi in everything.
Yeah.
So eventually that's my goal with everything I make. It will have a version of Inchi in it. Um, and I'm working on albino clown Inchis. I'm working on clown pied Inchis. I'm working on lavender albino clown Inchis. So I'm trying to put Inchi in everything. I just love the way Inchi works with so many things and so versatile. I just love to see it in stuff.
I'm with you. I definitely love Enchi, and I went from coming into this year with no Enchi to 4 of my breeders having Enchi in it now, which
Oh,
is
nice.
because I'm only at best I can only hit 8 clutches this year, and I'm probably, as you meant, the point you made earlier, I'll be lucky to get 5 or 6 clutches. So, but it's a big portion of what I'm doing. But I love pieds, and I love what Enchi does to pieds, and I even love what putting Enchi into a high white codom does with pieds, and it kind of brings out the best in both of them and moderates the colors back. So
yeah,
I love that. I love my other favorite codoms are Orange Dream, and I'm still on a banana kick. I know it's played out, but man, those things they're cool. I love them, man.
I understand. They look awesome. I understand.
Played out or not, man, some things are just classic and timeless, and I think banana is just an incredible option. And to your point, though, Enchi does great things with all of those genes, and I don't have a huge amount of experience with Enchis. Like I say, I really just recently got into actually owning them versus just looking at them. But I'm amazed at the orange influence that it has too.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about getting the Orange Dream in with the Enchi, and I'm big on the future of the candy gene. I really love candy, and I think that Enchi and Orange Dream will really bring out pinks in those candies. So, ball pythons 9. That's Joe down in Austin.
Okay.
Joe, I'm going to mess up your stats. Joe is producing killer stuff, and he's got, I want to say, like 50, 60 animals. But then you look at what he's producing, and I did one of my episodes of the coolest ball python in the world. I did on it was a Joe. Put it in the stats in the comments. I think it was a super Enchi, super banana clown, and it was just this. I mean, it looked like a banana split right in front of you with just the cleanest lines, no spots, the yellowest yellow, and then these beautiful oranges and pinks coming out of it. Super banana Enchi clown. I thought it was super Enchi as well. It was a killer snake. No super Enchi, but that's going to, he says that's going to blow it up. That's coming out.
So that's another goal right there to get super banana, super Enchi clown. Yeah.
Well, he's got a few things like that. Anyhow, he's worth checking out. Ball Python's 9, guys. He keeps kind of a low profile. He does 4 or 5 videos a year, and the ones he does are just like, oh, okay. You decided to speak up now. This is what you've been sneaking off working on, And actually, speaking of that, Phil, if you check out Finger Snakes BP on Instagram, Phil is killer. Phil's like that as well. I mean, you don't hear much from Phil. He doesn't have a huge social presence. And then on Instagram, you're just like, oh, check that out. And you're like, oh, okay.
Speaking of social presence, that's one of the things I worked on kind of right before the pandemic hit. I was working on my Instagram social presence where I literally posted a video every day. I literally posted a video every day for almost 2 years to grow my Instagram.
Yeah.
Because you need content. It does help that it's good content, but you do need content. And if you can make good content and people can like it and enjoy it and want to share it, that helps immensely. And that was one way I wanted to kind of organically grow, was having good content posted as regularly as possible. So that's a tip for anybody that's trying to grow their social media.
And I think I agree with you. When you said on Instagram, you were posting Instagram Reels every day, or you were doing
No,
YouTube?
I was just posting a picture. I took it just a picture.
Okay,
That
gotcha.
Reels is, I'm still working on the Reels. That's difficult.
Well, I agree with you, and I'll take it a step further. Making yourself do that, not you personally, but I imagine this happened with you as well, is you get better.
Yep.
Even if you stumble and you piss yourself off, you learn and you go, I'm not going to do that again. And the next day you do it a little bit better. And it's a million little things. It's the little blue light. It's my little microphone that I decided I liked in the corner of the screen instead of literally it doesn't make a difference, but I think it looks cool right there. It's all these little things that we work towards and you learn how to do. Part of everybody watching, part of the delay of us starting was that GERSHON cared enough to get his volume levels right, because if the volume wasn't right, it just wasn't going to be a good show, and it was worth us waiting and starting later. And that's you hear it on YouTube all the time. Just start, you'll get better, you'll learn, and it's never quantified because you can't really quantify it. There, like I say, is a million little things. Just goofing off, just things that I try. One time I tried speeding up my video. If you wonder why my videos look different video versus live, I speed them up to 106% because it makes me sound more excited and more passionate about what I'm doing.
Oh.
It's just a little trick that works. I can't say it'll work for everybody, but when you talk fast and excitedly, people think you're more passionate about it. So what the hell? That's contagious, right?
Yeah.
So like, that's the thing. Even this I just discovered because I used to light myself like this, but I thought it looked neat glowing up towards my face. I don't know if it does or not, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just all these little things that you'll never realize until you go do it and put it out there, right? I mean, that's the value. Just doing it every day. Just do it.
That's the thing about always trying to grow, always trying to do something different, always trying to. Don't be afraid to change. Just keep an eye out when you do change, how it's taken, how people like it. If they like it more, if they like it less, then you adjust. But you also want to make sure you're comfortable with it because it's your product you're putting out there. It's your name, it's your brand. You have to be comfortable with it. And if it's something that you're doing that other people like, but you're not comfortable with it, then you're going to lose passion for it. And it's going to happen real quick.
Yeah, and that we talked about before we came on, just how I feel like you're a real authentic guy, and what's authentic for you and your own style isn't going to be for somebody else, and that's what separates us all. That's what makes us unique and interesting, and why we want to hang out with each other too. You know, Joe over at Ball Python says 9. Yeah, Ball Python 9. He says I'm trying to cater to a fast attention span. Joe, for my 2 cents, which isn't worth that much because I think you have more subscribers than me and you absolutely have better snakes than me, but attract what you're comfortable with, because they're going to be far more attracted to you than the people that you try to adjust your style to. And then the people that fell in love with you in the first place aren't going to like the new style anyhow. Like your tribe will find you. And yeah, I do have to give a shout out. Jeremy Warfel said Inquiline did do a nice unboxing. Inquiline, congratulations. You've been trying to psych yourself up to get out there and do your first video for a long time now. I thought it was great. You're even pretty vulnerable on camera. You don't have to apologize for being you. And so what if you're doing it on a phone? Do it on a phone. Gershon's on the phone tonight. This
I
is
do
it here.
all my videos on the phone. All my YouTube videos are on the phone. Most of my lives are on the phone. So
Yeah. I mean, the phones these days, they just kill it, you know? So, so Gershon, where do you find, just because I like talking about the business stuff, anything you don't want to talk about, just tell me, I won't get offended. But where do you find that you get the most traction selling? Where do you acquire your customers? Is it through Morph Market? Is it through YouTube? Is it through Instagram? What works for you?
honestly, I've sold the most snakes through my YouTube. Literally, they see the video and they contact me. That's how I get. I've had my morph market for maybe 3 years now. I've only posted 5 animals on morph market, and only 2 of them actually sold from morph market. All the other ones sold from other places, but they were on morph market. So most of my sales come off morph market, and then off YouTube, and then secondly it's Instagram. Morph market is kind of my last one that really gets my animals sold. To be honest.
And do you? I don't know the technical way to put it. I'm not a marketing guy. Do you find that you ping those things back and forth off of each other? Do you find that one benefits the other, or are they kind of in their own buckets or islands?
So I think my YouTube and Instagram benefit each other.
Okay.
Because YouTube has always had the issue with notifying your subscribers that you have videos out. So that's why I posted on Instagram. Yeah, some people complain about, even though they've rung the bell on your YouTube channel, they don't get notified when you have a new video. So that's why I post on my Instagram and my Facebook. Every day I put out a video, I'll post it on Instagram and Facebook. So you'll get it from multiple places knowing I have a video out, or knowing that I'm about to do a live. Like, you never know where people are going to find you. So it's always safer to cover all the bases.
That mindset I agree with on the casting the net. I don't know. I truly don't know. My gut feeling is that my Instagram followers are different from my YouTube, like literally different, not the same people as my YouTube subscribers. And I'm almost even more certain that that's true with Facebook. I could be wrong, but I think so. Facebook seems to do better in like the groups kind of thing rather than my own page. So I get a lot more traction if I post in a ball python group, so to say. So like the local Jacksonville reptile page, I get a lot of interaction on Facebook there, but I don't think many of them come over. Tradesman Exotics, he's in that group, but I think he's the only one. And there's a couple other guys that I talk to like daily, and I'm like, come on, come watch the show. You know, like, you know, they're busy. I don't hold it against them. They're busy people. True. That's fine. But I
always tell people, hey, you can't make it live. You can always rewatch it later. No problem. Rewatch it later.
That's true. And they might, you know, that's a good point too. They may very well, that might trickle over from Facebook and Instagram. I usually, Instagram was the one that I came to last, you know, as the old dude in the room. Maybe it should have been the first. I don't know. So I haven't quite figured out Instagram. I post on it regularly. There's 200 and change followers, which is awesome. That's cool. But certainly YouTube has been my focus. Like, I try and funnel everything to YouTube. And I think it's working. You know, my experience is similar to what you just described. I know it's a very small sample size, but of the 15 snakes that I sold this year, I think 6 or 8 of them were on YouTube. Now, I did get a fair number of them sold from Morph Market, 1 or 2 on the Facebook group, and then none on Instagram. But I've only been at Instagram maybe 4 months, maybe.
Okay, yeah. You're still building that audience on Instagram, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So, you know, in a year, I might find, a whole different experience in a year of more reality hitting, you know. Jeremy's talking about. Jeremy, where's the comment? Here we go. Jeremy says,
yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, I can't seem to get past 355 subs. Every time I get past 355, I lose enough to put me back at 355. I don't know what it is, Jeremy, but that happens. It does. I think I'm at 851 or 852 or something right now. 844 for me was like a week and a half, man. I'd get 5 subscriptions and then I'd lose 6 the next day or wake up the next one. You're like, how? And you almost overthink it. You're like, what did I do wrong? Who did I make mad? And I'm like, I haven't done anything.
I stayed at, I stayed between 500 and 700 for like almost 5 months before it finally boosted over 700 and kept going. Hey, Patrick, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. Patrick is a great supporter. Side note, Patrick's amazing supporter. He's on almost everybody's channel. Oh.
I know. I always make the joke. He's heard the joke 5 weeks in a row now. I always make the joke. I used to think I was special till I saw his name everywhere. I thought he just commented to me. I thought he was just really into me. No, it's everybody.
I don't know how he finds the time. That's a job in itself. Watching everybody's videos, comments, hitting everybody's live. Touche. If you go support Patrick on his Instagram, I always forget what his Instagram is. I know he has a cleaning business, so if you're in his area, look him up, throw him a little business because he is a great supporter of the reptile community, and so just go check him out. But like I was saying, it took a minute for me to get over that 700 mark, and there's times when you want to just like, am I doing this just for me? Because it doesn't seem like anybody cares. And I've had those days where I'm like, I don't want to do a new video. I don't want to do this anymore. But you got to kind of find the thing that encourages you to keep going. It might be you trying something different, trying something new. You've done 10 videos the same way, do that 11th video a different way and see what happens. Do little small stuff to see if you can improve your happiness on the platform. Not necessarily try to get more views, but improve your happiness and you being happy with the product you're putting out.
I agree with you. And I find the same thing in music. Like I can go learn the hit song. I can go learn some, I could be the white dude with a guitar and sing some Dave Matthews, but it ain't going to get me going. But if I'm singing something I love, that's going to translate whether you know the song or not. In that moment, you're going to love it, kind of thing. And I think the same is true on the videos. I find when I'm forcing it, it's a real, to me, it's perceptibly different. Now I know myself pretty well. But the flip side of it too is you can't let yourself get burnt out and down. Like you can't just go, well, I'm not going to be passionate about it today, so I'm not going to do it. Screw that. Like you say, try something new, try some new technique. Go watch YouTube. I get a lot of inspiration just watching YouTube. Like, what did that guy do? I'm going to go figure out how that happened. Like, I'm going to make that happen.
And don't be afraid to not steal from somebody, but take something you see that they did that you might like and give your own spin to it. Because there's no need to steal it, but you can change it up to where it's unique to you and still have your flair on it. But a good idea is still a good idea.
I say steal it, call it stealing it if you want. I'm not disagreeing with you though, but I would argue, just like I told people, I speed my videos up to 106% usually. Good luck. I don't know if that 106 is going to work for you. Maybe
exactly
different. If you can make it work, you might have to put it at 110. You might have to put it at 103. You might sound like a jabbering idiot at 106. I don't know. Good luck. Take it. If you can do it, like it's not proprietary. Go for it. If you can do it,
true.
I get up, I put my boots on, I go to work. I figured it out, So but I mean it sincerely, and we all learn and get inspired in different ways. I've showed it a couple times, but I keep this book right here. It's called Show Your Work, and this guy Austin Kleon, he basically says the more we can learn and steal and be inspired by each other, the faster we'll all get to where we're going. He says the idea of this, and now he talks about it from a creative, artistic standpoint, but he says this idea of the artistic genius sitting alone in some tower creating masterpieces out of thin air is absolute nonsense. Most artists in history have had schools that they taught, students that they shared with, other apprentices that came up under them, worked together. And basically, he makes the argument that 2 or 3 amateurs will figure out a better solution than one professional almost every time. So
True.
In that way, if you want to move your microphone into the camera, you want to put a blue light, you want to go 106% speed, give it a shot. I don't know if it'll work for you, but it works for me. So I got to say thanks to Athena in Wonderland. She says 853 subscribers now. I take it that you subscribed. Thank you very much, Athena.
So you're right. Go ahead and steal, but at least give credit to the people you stole from. That's what I at least do. I did steal my writing on eggs or who's your uncle. I stole that from Granddaddy Herps. And every time I do it and talk about it, I tell people where I got the idea from. So at least give credit to those who you steal from.
Thank you for adding that. I should have said that. That's the gracious way to do it. And there's no shame in it. Like what left in the world is truly original? I don't know. Like
exactly. There's only like 5 stories Hollywood's been telling for years.
I was an English major for the first part of my college experience, and Hemingway said that every American novel ever since Huck Finn has been stolen from Huck Finn. And I don't know if it's true or not, but if Hemingway can make that argument, there's got to be like some truth to it, So, but you're exactly right. Give credit. And I think like that's part of what I love about this show. Like if there's people that inspire me and I can bring them on and bring more activity to your channel, man, all's right with the world. That's great, Yeah,
that's something that I focus on my podcast is to try to show smaller channels on YouTube, give them a little bit of light that they might not get people to check out their channels because they got good content. That's what I try to do. I think you froze. Let me see. I can get to the comments. Did he freeze? Let me know in the comments. Did I freeze? Maybe I froze. Let's see. You guys hear me? Oh, well, you guys can't hear me. But let me know in the comments if you guys can hear. Oh. I'm on the show by myself. All right, guys. So, hit me in the comments with any questions. Yeah, he's back.
The breaker flipped in my garage. I'm on a laptop in the dark, man. Keep it going. Give me a minute. I can't believe, man.
All right.
That's what I get for telling people to steal something. Like karma is immediate, man.
So fast.
Look at me. I'm standing in the dark like Blair Witch Project right now, man.
Oh wow. See, hey, and this is the joy of going live because anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Man. So, all right, keep going. I'm going to shut up for a minute. I'm going to get power back in my room, and I'll chirp in for a minute. Everybody, just get free laughs on me tonight.
So, anybody in the comments have a question? I can see the comments, so let me know if you have a question, something you would like me to talk about, or what was one of the topics we were talking about? I can't look. It's on my phone, so I can't look at it. You said longevity on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Longevity. How about talk about? You've been at this like 8 years breeding ball pythons. What are some of the trends you see, the ups and downs and market prices? How long? I don't know. Maybe talk through some of that.
We could do that. Favorite project breeding this next year. We'll talk about that too. Ball python 9. So when I got into breeding, I didn't know anything. 100% was just picking up pretty looking things, pretty snakes. I grabbed those. So after my first 2 years, I realized I bought a lot of stuff that I wasn't going to breed and didn't need to breed. So I had to restructure and get some recessives and get some codoms that I like to work with. That was one of the big things I realized. I needed to have projects I like working with, that I didn't mind opening that tub every day, cleaning that snake, checking on that snake, feeding that snake, and repeating that process for years on. Because some of these projects are 10 to 15 years in the making. So that's one thing I would say about when you get in. Make sure you work with genes you like and you want to work with. Um, Also, females. Go female heavy at first. Buy nothing but females because they take 2 to 3 to sometimes 5 years to get up to size to breed. So buy your females first. And then when they're super close to breeding, like you know they're gonna go in like 6 months, in a year, then you start getting your males, your powerhouse males. If you've paid attention to Miguel, this is one of the things he's done. He's got a whole bunch of females, and then when got a powerhouse male for those females after a year or so after they got up to size. Um, that'll definitely take away a lot of your, for one, keep your feeding bill low because you're not feeding two animals waiting for one animal to get the size, because that male is going to get the size real quick, no hesitation. Also, it gives you an idea of uh, if you need to change your project in the midst of your female getting up to size, you see something else that inspires you to make something totally different than you had planned to. Trust me, this is going to happen every time. The plan you have for your breeding project will change every 2 days.
Yeah.
It happens that way every 2 days.
And John just asked a really good question as well. But I had a thought. If you had it to do all over again, would you buy the young females and wait to grow them up, or would you pool your money and get one or two breeders that you could get going with right away and kind of get the process going? And I don't have an agenda in that question. That's a clear question.
That's a great question. I would do a mix of both. I would buy either 2 to 3 gene breeder females, most likely codom females. If I can get a female with a recessive and a codom in it, I would do that. And then I would buy double recessive, if possible, triple recessive females to grow up. So I would get myself be able to breed within a year and then still be able to breed some powerhouses in 2 to 3 years. That's the way I would do it. Just because actually breeding is a unique and a whole training you have to go through in itself. Like raising animals is one thing, but then actually breeding animals, getting the eggs, getting the locks, watching for ovulations, cutting the eggs, raising, getting those hatchlings to eat their first time. That's a whole experience outside of just owning snakes itself. That's how I feel.
I agree with you. And I think, like I say, I only had 2 that went this year. There was value in learning in a small sample size of just what you're talking about, of how to breed. I don't know that if I had waited 3 years and I suddenly had 8 of them ready, I don't know that I would know what in the world to do, not to mention just being incredibly overwhelmed. So I go back to the restaurant for a whole lot of analogies, but one of them being, anytime I opened a new concept or rolled out a new menu or tried a new initiative, I always did it on a Monday and a Tuesday night. You don't open your grand opening on a Friday night. You're going to get run over, man, because you just don't know. And I hate this cliche, but you don't know what you don't know. And if you can learn what you don't know in an easy setting, you're going to do better than if you learn what you don't know in an awful setting. So, but I don't know exactly how I would quantify that playing into buying, buying investment females and things like that. Phil says, where did he say? Somewhere along the way, Phil says get going with mature females, and then he says correct both. So maybe we're both correct on that.
So what Ball Python 9 said, what project I'm excited about this season. I'm excited about trying to make clown pies, and I'm excited about working on my triple heads.
Wait, I'm sorry to cut you off. Wait a minute. You never completed the story about your long-term project. It just came to fruition. Yeah. And I showed so much restraint, making sure I didn't spoil it. Come on now.
I was going to drop in like, hey, if you go watch my Girl Out series, you'll see what project it is. But you can still go watch the Girl Out series, but we'll talk about it. So the project I was working on, which I actually, in the process of working this project, I was about to stop breeding ball pythons. Like, I had sold 9 females and only kept 4 ball pythons, and like I was gonna keep as pets 4 ball pythons and my green tree python and my red tail boas. I was gonna keep everything as pets, and I was gonna get out of breeding. I was gonna stop breeding. So the project I was working on was
how long ago was that
albino
when you
clown.
were considering getting out?
That was 4 years ago. About 4 years ago, where I sold almost everything and was on my way out the door of breeding ball pythons. I was going to still keep snakes. I just wasn't going to breed them. Yeah. So the thing that got me back in is an albino girl laid a clutch that did not make it. None of the clutch made it because the thermostat had a malfunction and it fried all the eggs. I didn't realize that's what was happening because this is one of those things where you learn through experience of breeding, and the thermostat went out and I didn't notice it, and it fried all the eggs. That was the only clutch in there that season, but it left a bad taste in my mouth that I wanted to keep trying, and that got me back into the project of working it, and I bought the male that has sired the albino clown that I was trying to make. So you never know where your journey might stop and continue from, and what might change that journey. So just sit back and be ready for the ride. Be ready to change when need to be. Yeah, it was a crazy ride to sell almost everything and then get back in and come back harder and heavier and that's when I really started hitting YouTube, started hitting Instagram, and started really pushing my brand, pushing GPSnakes out there and really trying to give this a go, just because of that one change of mind.
You know, the thing that I thought was really striking, if not just touching in that story too, is that it wasn't a big success that reeled you back in. It was a newfound like affinity to overcome that challenge. Like most people telling that story, it would go, well, I was kind of thinking about getting out, and then my whole damn, eggs got fried, and I'm done and I'm out. Yeah, that's how that story normally goes. That's what separates why you're still sitting here,
Yeah, I believe it is. And my wife told me, hey, if you're gonna do it, go ahead and do it. But she's like, remember, you have a family too. So I'm working on that balance. Snakes and family, I got to work on that balance.
It is a balance, and it's, put it this way, I'd rather find the balance with ball pythons or music, and I'm lucky to be able to say this, I don't take this for granted, with ball pythons and music than a 60, 70, 80-hour grind that I was doing in a restaurant. At least I can, if I've got to find the balance, and I love the restaurant. The restaurant made me the man I am today, personally, financially, socially, everything. But I'm at a point in my life where I find the balance through something else. If GERSHON, if you'll keep it going for about 60 seconds, I'm going to switch back. I finally got everything fired back up in here, and passwords, and my computer did the update as well. I'm going to log off I'm going to log off the laptop, go back to the studio and where I have a little more control and comfort, and my microphone will be in the picture. I'll be right
No
back.
problem. No problem. I believe it's I know somebody had a question asked. Yeah, here we go. How do you decide what project to work on when the industry can change so much? That is a actually really good question, because for the longest time it was safe to do like lavender albino or
Sorry.
pied. Oh, you're good. Or pied, because they sell really good. Blue Eye Lucy's sell really good, move really fast, not only in the community itself, but outside of in the, what is it called, the retail community. Those snakes really move really well. Now things are changing so much. There's a new hot morph every time you look up on Morph Market. So realistically, you should work with what you like first, and then see what the community is looking for. That's how I do it. Like I work with albino, so it's a no-brainer for me to produce albinos for people to buy, because people ask me for albinos because they know I work with it. I'm also starting to expand into pied. I'm going to start producing more pies for people because they see I'm working the clown pied project, and people are starting to ask me for pies. So it's a little give and take of what your customer base asks for and what you want to work with too, to keep you happy and doing what you're doing. So I hope that answers that question. I think it does. But work with what you want to work with, but also kind of glance at what people are buying and interested into. Because if you're going to invest in an animal, you need to know that it's going to have longevity to stay, to not only get back your investment, but also make a profit from it. I know people don't like to talk about profits too much about with ball pythons, but we're not doing this for free. Most of us are starting to make money on it, but that's the goal, is to make money with it and at least make it sustain itself. And you have to make profit for it to do that.
Time for a not shameless, it's my own show, I can plug whatever I want, but a shameless plug. No, my video this week coming out, and I've got to finish editing it, and it turned into a much bigger project because I actually went very, very deep on it, is called How Much Money Did I Make in 2021? And I share all of my books. I share my actual spreadsheet that I'm going to take over to my tax person. I'm not going to spoil the outcome, but and then it just kept rolling. You can look at, just like you talked about, start with what you love, but then you got to figure out what you're going to invest in that you love, but also financially makes sense. You also got to analyze your business. If, I found that feeding expenses were 30% of my total costs. Okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to get my feeding expenses down. And it's not necessarily as simple as feed less, raise your own rats, find a new distributor. You talked about earlier, maybe invest in better genes that you don't need multiple snakes of, and then your feeding costs go down as well. And because you have less animals to care for, more time in your day, quicker way to find balance, blah, blah, blah. So it's a fun business exercise that I'm really, really enjoying myself doing. Now, other people have different opinions than me on the feeding part. Joe says breeding mice has been huge for me, but also I can never go back to not doing it. Yeah. I personally don't want to breed anything except for ball pythons. Second, I pay a lot of money to keep live rodents out of this house. I don't want to bring them in. All joking aside, I don't have the resources, and I don't really have the desire to. So I'd much rather purchase frozen thawed. And find a way. I talk about in the video, adults, instead of feeding, juveniles or subadults, one or two small rats regularly, that are $2.40 landed each, so $4.80. I rather feed a mature adult one medium once every 3 weeks that I can get that rat landed for $2.65. So right there, it's a 40% less cost.
Yeah.
$2, but $2 a feeding times 30 snakes, it all goes. So
yep, it all adds up.
Through all those thoughts in my head on that, you know?
Yeah, I'm still learning the business part of this business because I didn't go to like business school or anything like that. I've never ran my own business, which I am essentially starting to do.
That's right.
So I'm learning all that on top of still learning how to breed. I mean, yes, I've been doing it for a while, but there's always something happening in the year that you never thought was going to happen, and now you have to adjust to that. That's one of the things in this community. You have to be able to adjust at a moment's notice between a female not going or a female being egg bound or a male not breeding or a male has I forgot what it calls when it's pushes out its organs through its cloaca. Starts with P. Prolapse. It has a prolapse. So dealing with that from animals, which does happen. People act like it doesn't, but it does. Animals get sick. Either right before you're trying to breeding season start, they get sick. So you have to make the decision: can they get over this sickness and still breed, or do you have to just take them out the schedule? Depending on what the sickness is, if it's a respiratory, you have to take them all the way out. You got to make sure they get better before they can breed because you don't want to infect the rest of your collection. If it's mites, I think mites is an easier thing to deal with. Some people have a lot of trouble with it, but these are the things that come up during your raising of animals that you have to deal with. You have to be able to adjust at a moment's notice.
You do, and somewhere, there's always a song or a rock and roll quote or something, but it's the old, you can make whatever plans you want, and then you're going to find out what plans life has for you, or God has for you, or karma has for you, or whatever the universe, or whatever it might be. And that's totally true. I talk about in these kind of year-end video series that I'm doing right now. I was fully intending, I'm not going to give away the ending. I had one clear plan, but it hinged on 4 clutches. It hinged on hitting visuals from head to head pairings. And it hinged on me thinking I could sell the snakes for a whole lot more than I could. And all these things that fit on a spreadsheet or fit on a line item with money, what doesn't fit on a spreadsheet or line item is your time and your sanity. If you're an awful person because you can't sleep and you're mad all the time at the thing that you're supposed to be in love with, it ain't worth it either. And all of those things get thrown into that blender of this world. Joe says, if we all shy away from money talk too long, that's how you get people making foolish mistakes, getting in over their heads. I'm always quick to point out, I hear a lot of people, and I mean, part of it was true for me too, but I hear a lot of people saying, man, things sold. I got them sold before they went to Morph Market and this, and we did that. You know what? The people that are saying that are the people that built a YouTube channel, that built an Instagram platform, that put in the 7, 8, 10 years, that I don't mean to bring it up or throw salt in the wound, that cooked a batch of eggs because of a malfunction. And if the new person only hears, oh, you just sell snakes all the time, man. Look at the prices.
They don't see the hard work.
Yeah, and you're going to buy, and to Joe's point, you're going to buy too much. You're going to over leverage yourself, and over leverage is the fancy way of saying you bought stuff you shouldn't have when you were broke and you didn't have any discipline. I don't mean you personally, but people. And we see that in life, man. I know all these people driving. I see more Audi, Audi cars in Jacksonville, and I'm like, man, I do all right in life, and I know not every one of these people is should be driving that damn Audi. And it's the same with snakes, man. I see people buying stuff and I'm like, wow, I want you to do well. But maybe ease in a little bit, maybe make a little. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But oof.
I mean, it's the American way. We are known to live above our means. We've taught Americans, hey, you want this? Go get it. You deserve it. And everybody thinks they deserve everything. Unfortunately, your bank account doesn't agree with you. So you have to adjust.
I completely agree with the mindset that you do have to spend money to make money, but you better have a plan, and your plan better not just be that nifty cliche that tells people to leave you alone every time you want to spend money, because I don't care if it's guitars, I don't care if it's cars, I don't care if it's ball pythons. It is, you got to have a plan. And if it were so easy, we wouldn't know names like Miguel or Justin or Billy, because we'd all be Billy and Justin. It is hard. They make it look simple, but I guarantee if you get them over a beer behind the scenes, it ain't pretty. It ain't easy. And they've worked their butts off of it, man. I know that. Everything. The best restaurants are like that. The best companies are like that. The best leaders are like that. Nobody just pops into the world and
exactly.
No.
It takes time. There's another thing that people might not be aware of is customer service. That alone can sell or have somebody go to somebody else and not buy a snake from you. Just your customer service. That is a huge part of this industry as well. It's hard to, you go from a person that's used to being by themselves and now have to answer questions about an animal they raised, and they're like, well, do you want to buy it or not? I'm not here to answer questions. And people are not taking that anymore. They want you to be able to be pleasant, answer questions, and be receptive to them. You don't have to be at every beck and call, but you have to be reasonable with people when they're trying to buy something from you, especially if it costs like $2,000 to $3,000.
You got to, and you got to get in the game, but not only get in the game, you have to play it. And you're right about customer service. You have to treat every person as if they're the ones that are going to drop the money on your snake. Because I don't know if anybody's noticed, but there's 21,000 other snakes on Morph Market that they can buy.
Very true.
Those are the snakes the guys like you didn't even, that was after they sold everything.
These are the leftover snakes that we have.
Yeah. And, again, people see, oh, here's the show. Maybe Adam has a good personality. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he puts on a good show. They don't see the time editing the videos, the figuring out the 106% my morning coffee every day is replying to every single comment on my YouTube channel. That's every stinking day. And I'm not monetized. It's not like I'm rolling in YouTube money. That ain't happening. That's not real. It just isn't there. So I agree with you. Thank you for bringing up the point about customer service. And I think it's in every industry. I think it's especially the bigger place you live. I remember sometime I tried to order a pizza and the guy gave me a smart response. And I just said, you know what? I'll buy a pizza from somebody else. And I hung up. And to his credit, he called me back and tried to get me back in. I said, dude, it's too late. If I'm bothering you and this is your business, I'm sorry to be a bother. I'll go bother somebody else and try and give them. Yeah. It's in every industry. Morphic Exotics, welcome. I haven't seen you on the show before. Thank you so much for stopping by. And there was somebody else I hadn't seen on before that took the time to comment. Rob M., same to you as well. I really I appreciate all the returning guests, but I also am always excited to see new guests. Anybody coming over from Gershon's channels too. Thank goodness. I really appreciate you all. Jay and I worked together for a long time. We talk weekly, if sometimes daily. Jay's a tough working dude. He and I work together, but we were talking about it. Yeah, he owns his own restaurant. You still got to scrub your own floors. He still is running the register, thanking every person that comes in and out. I have I won't name any names, but I have a good friend that actually lived with me for a while we were running restaurants together, and he does close-up magic. And I know you're wondering, like, this is a ball python show. What are we doing? At night, when I would go to bed and read, he was working on his card mechanics.
Yep.
He's working on his craft. He's learning, all these things that all goes into it. So when people are like, man, you really got this good thing going, that's why I knew I wanted to have you on the show. When I wrote staying power on that thumbnail, that all of that gets encompassed into it. And I wanted to get into some of that. And we really have. I mean, you talked about almost getting out, the downsides of what you experienced. So you got your albino clown this year, and I missed. Is it a male or is it a female?
It's a male. Okay. He has one eye though.
Yeah.
But he's a beast. He eats like a beast. He's almost 150 grams already.
Cool.
He's a great eater. So I'm really looking forward to plugging him into some girls next year. But I'm so excited to see what else I can do with this project, where else I can take it.
Where are you? I know
I'm trying
9 times, but what's on the docket right now in your mind?
In my mind, first off, produce some female albino clowns. That's the first step. But also start getting inchy in there. Start working with some darker morphs in the albino clown project. Yeah. Just because it has that I forget the word. It has that different look with the blacks go all white in albino. That contrast, there we go. It has that different contrast with the darker morphs in albino, and I want to see how that works with a clown in there too. So that's my plan is to go.
Those yellows evolve the pinks and oranges when you get the dark in there too. Yeah.
So I want to work with black pastel, black head, GHI. I want to get all those in there. I missed out on a GHI double head albino clown male that was proven. I missed out on him one night. I told myself, I'll check on him tomorrow morning. Instead of buying him that night, looked on the morph market and he was pending sale. And I was like, no. So that could have been happening this season.
Yeah. Do you ever play poker? Or you ever watch poker?
I've watched poker, yeah.
All right, so like the bad beats, it's like I never want to turn the show into like the misery. Like I was so close. If only I'd pulled a queen on the river. Like, but let me just commiserate for a moment with you. So, and speaking of having plans and life having its own plans for you. So I moved from North Carolina, and speaking of hearing people say that they sell everything so fast, my house has been for sale for 9 months in North Carolina. And I put all my buying and snake investing and business investing on hold because my money is tied up in that house and the equity in that house. So I'm looking it's under contract. It's about to sell. And one of my top wants, desires, next business move is that I'm going to buy a female triple het. And I found one on Morph Market. And my wife and I have changed our lifestyle because of the limitations of money being tied up in that house and not having renters and paying 2 mortgages. And frankly, I put some pressure on her sometimes to be like, why are we spending that kind of money? And so I couldn't buy that. I would not. It was irresponsible of me. Talk about being over leveraged and spending things I shouldn't have. I didn't buy that snake. And I was so close. Literally, my house closes on the 29th. So 8 days from now. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to call them and put some money down on and lock that snake up. And it's gone. And all the triple hets and that of any combination that I'm interested in are gone. It's like Thanksgiving hit. Everybody went into sell end of season sale mode, and
Mm-hmm.
there's crazy deals out there everywhere, and they're gone. And I'm like, there was what I wanted to get going, because this industry is as much about time as it is money.
Yep.
When you buy an animal, you're saving yourself future time so that you don't have to, every minute you wait, you've got a 2-3 year window on top of it.
Yep.
So Jeremy at Bod's, guys, if you all haven't seen Bod's Exotic Reptiles, I know everybody's into desert ghosts these days, and everybody's into them. He's actually making them. And Jeremy is a killer dude. I met him while he was vending at Daytona, and he's been kind enough to be on my show before as well. But while it was on my mind, guys like Jeremy, Kai, I don't know if he's still in the audience, Phil, those of y'all that are producing, I'm officially in the market for a triple het female. I close on my house in 8 days. I'll put money down right now, and I will pay you off in January. We will settle up, and you can hold it till whenever it needs to ship. But I'm in the market for a triple het female. Ideally, I'm looking for pied, clown, and VPI axanthic. But if instead of axanthic you had something with candy in it, if you had something with lavender in it, I would be interested in all of that. And again, I'm trying to buy time here. I need to get this going, because every moment I don't get it going is moments in the future that I'll never get back. And I'm not saying that exactly right, but that's what
I understand.
That's what I'm looking for. So anybody in the audience, I have money. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to make a purchase. I want a legit triple het of some combination of recessives I already have. I'll leave it there. There's my pitch. I'm ready to go after it.
I mean, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I am working on making triple het Desert Ghost albino G stripes. I'm working on double het Desert Ghost pies, and well, yeah, those are the 2 double and triple hets I'm working on. I know you didn't say G stripe, but you said candy, which is the lighter, brighter version of albino, which I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
Here's the thing. I'm working on them. I'm not working on them as close as you are. I'm working on them. I'm trying to dump it. I don't want to be working on
I understand.
It's one of the few things in life where we can actually spend money and get time back. Like I actually usually end my show saying there's a lot of expensive things in the world, but time is one of the most valuable. And I appreciate everybody sharing their time with me tonight.
Yep.
If I could buy it now, I get the time, then I don't have to wait for you to work on it. Somebody else will buy it. They will buy it, and maybe I'll buy it. Maybe I'll buy a mail from you by the time that you get it, when you get around to it. Jeremy, hang on. Yeah, is that like for sale, Jeremy? Or are you just telling me that you have it so I could be jealous?
He's just bragging about it.
He's like, yeah, Adam, I got one right here. I got your triple hat.
I agree with Ball Python 9. He said make sure you comment on the video, not the live, but put a comment down on the video, because I'm gonna try to go back and either subscribe or follow everybody that was in the live. That's another way you guys can help each other grow, is following each other. That's definitely a way to help you guys grow, is following each other.
And you guys can't put links in the comments. It won't show that. But you put your handle and what platform it is. Not only can you comment away, I encourage you to. It'll help you all, because we can subscribe and follow each other as a community. And all the cards on the table, the more comments a video has, the more the YouTube algorithm thinks that it's gaining steam and gaining interest, and that it's gaining engagement. So it benefits me as well. Even if you've already subscribed to me, that's a way to continue helping the content producers that you enjoy. So I'm very, look, see, Mark's on the stealing line. Just give me some credit, man. No, I'm joking. Mark is awesome. You and Mark did a show together. You know what a
had
good
Mark on. Yeah, great guy.
And actually, special shout out to Mark. I got a special place in my heart for the teachers in this world. And Mark is I believe high school, but certainly a school teacher. And it is not an easy time, regardless of a pandemic. Just the conditions of the social conditions that teachers have to work in is a nightmare these days. So keep doing your thing, Mark. Steal away, man. I'm not worried about any chances are good I stole it in the first place. So don't worry about it, man. So, but yeah, seriously, everybody, you can't leave a link. It'll block you and it won't tell you that it's been blocked. It just won't post the comment. But if you post your handle and you say the platform, so if I were to say Proper Royals Facebook, you can find it, kind of thing. Make it so that we can find yours. And I'm first happy to give you a platform to place it, but second happy to help out, and it does help me as well. Jeremy, sorry, we've got 3 topics going on here. Triple Het, Clown, Desert Ghost, and Cryptic. And I've got a Het Cryptic female, and I should have a clutch of Kryptons coming out this year. Jeremy, I might talk to you about that one, man. I would love to. I would love to do that. And
Jeremy, I would talk to you, but my bank account ain't where it needs to be right now to talk to you about that. So I'm gonna just give you a thumbs up and say congrats on that, because I know you got some nice holdbacks from that clutch.
Yeah, Jeremy, I might be in the same boat, man. That one that I was looking at was a sweet price, but we'll figure that out. BP9, Joe, and actually this brings up a point I got to mention as well. Joe says, how many people can you have a guest at once? Let's have a whole channel party. I get the free StreamYard, so I don't know how many I can have or not have.
I think you can have 5 with the free one. I literally just upgraded my StreamYard because they had a sale during Thanksgiving. They had that Essential pack. So Essential lets you do 10 people. Eventually, I'm going to upgrade to Pro. But that's a business decision. That's a business decision. I have to make sure the snakes are paying for that, because this is part of my snake business. So I'm trying to work that in that way.
Yep. And sorry, Kai just made me laugh. I'll post it in a minute. Mm-hmm. So from a scheduling standpoint, this is, I think, going to be the last show of the year that I do. I'm going to take next Tuesday off. I've got family coming into town and talking about balance. It's the first Tuesday that I've skipped in 20 weeks. I think this is the 20th episode, and I'm happy and proud of that. So I'm going to skip it next week. But Joe, to your point, one of my thoughts was for the last show of the year was to get or invite everybody that's been a guest on the show to come back. And I always want to keep the show sort of PG-ish, but I also thought, if it were like New Year's Eve or New Year's Day or something, we could all crack a couple beverages and just kick back and goof off and let down the show professionalism. Although I hope I don't keep it rigid, but I might do something like that, but it won't be next Tuesday. I will be back. My calendar's over here. I will be back on the air January 4th. Which is the first Tuesday in the new year. And Leviathan Snakes will be back on as a guest. And we're going to do our 2022 goals show. We're both going to lay out our goals. We're putting them out there in public so that we can all be held accountable to our goals. And we're going to help ourselves and make sure we keep each other honest throughout 2022. So that will be the first show of 2022. But keep an eye on Instagram. I might just make an announcement with 24 or 48 hours. If you've been a host, and I'll tag you, come on by and we'll just have a little year-end get down. I just don't know when it'll be. I got family coming and going. We're going to do a little bit of traveling and that kind of stuff. So maybe it'll happen. Maybe I don't need the year end to do it. Maybe it'll just be the third week in January that we kick back and get rowdy. I don't know what. We'll
I like that. I like that. What you just said about making goals. and us keeping each other accountable for them goals. That's what something I want to do this coming season is not only make breeder goals, but also make business goals for the business itself, and try to achieve those. Of course, do small ones. I feel if you do small things that you know you can achieve, it gives you more of a uh, empowering feeling instead of doing something so big that you might not get to. Have small goals here and there that you know you can get to. It's going to take a little work, and it helps you keep going. It gives you that boost of positivity to keep you going in your whatever endeavor you're trying to do.
I agree, and I agree even more so because I believe it, and I just know me. I'm an excitable, antsy person by nature, and it served me well in restaurants. You're always on the go. You're always, what's the next ticket time? How long on the food? When is this table going to get sat? How long till that one comes? Blah blah blah. The problem is I will lose sight of what I'm focused on, and ball pythons teach me patience. About 9 people have asked me for a musical short. If you all stick around, I will close the show. Last weekend, part of why I was so busy, talk about doing 9 different things. I was out on the road in Florida. I went down to Punta Gorda, and then I was back up in Daytona the next night, and then Jacksonville the third night. I shot some video. I will end the show tonight with me in a pub. It was me and a fiddle player out on the road doing some shows. So I will do it. Sit tight, guys. We'll end the show with, I don't want to turn the show into Adam's music. There's a reason I do ball python shows. But goals written down and written out keep me focused on what I aim to achieve and like why I came from, where I came from, and where I want to get to. And I did a whole video at the beginning of 2021, excuse me, of what my goals were for 2021. I just did a recap video of did I make them or not, but also in that video was sort of a purpose statement of like, why am I doing this? It was really cool to hear myself say that I get mental relaxation from it, that it binds my family. My wife is supportive. My son is excited about it. They're beautiful. And I think it could be a viable source of revenue. Could it be my only way? I don't know. But to revisit the whys and what motivated me and what brought me that passion in the first place is so important to the goals. Once you reread those and you go, oh yeah, then you might make your goals. You might miss your goals. You might screw up. I might not hit my 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm not going to, but it's okay because you gain so much more along the way. You know what I mean? And in one of those videos was just a huge aha moment that you talked about a moment ago. I'm not monetized on YouTube, but I sold over half the snakes I sold this year on YouTube. That's way more than YouTube was going to pay me in 2021. I could tell you
Very
that
true.
much. Whether they call it monetized or not, that's what I just made. So it's pretty cool stuff. I see you looking at the comments. What you got over there?
Oh no, I every so often I can check the comments, but it covers like the whole screen, so I can see the comments. It's just people making good comments. Ball Python 9 talking about, well, he was talking about if you can breed your own rodents, do that. Definitely. I'm in the same page as you to an extent. I don't have the room to breed my own rodents, and my wife has a super nose. So if I did breed my own rodents, I would have to be cleaning every day because she would just tell me to shut everything down because she wouldn't be able to handle the smell. I wouldn't mind breeding my own rodents if I had an outside garage to do it in and all that good stuff, and it was well insulated. But the thing is, my worry about breeding my own rodents was I would make most of my collection be on live rats. So if anything happened where I couldn't breed anymore, I would have a collection that is kind of stuck on live rodents. Ball pythons are very finicky animals. One day they'll eat live, and next day they won't touch it ever again. So I kind of like to stay consistent with one source of food a certain way, and that would be my only downside of breeding my own rodents because I would still have to freeze them.
Are
So the
you?
time,
Do you
go
feed
ahead.
right now? Do you feed frozen thawed or do you feed
Yeah,
live?
I feed frozen thawed. I feed 95% of my collection eats frozen thawed. I
Right.
have those 2 or 3 stubborn ones.
Yep.
Um, but mostly all my collection is on frozen thawed, and that's because I can buy it in bulk and I can always have it. Buying live rats weekly can kill you. That's one of the biggest things in this hobby that a lot of people have to get out because they can't afford their
It will
rat
eat
bill.
you up. Eat you up. Yep.
And that's one thing you have to be aware of as you grow. That feeding bill will grow with you, and it will catch up to you quicker than you realize. 100%. That's also a thing I'm learning now is my business expenses. What?
Sorry, I'm trying to get this video lined up for people here, like I promised. I'm sorry.
No problem. That's one thing I'm learning with my business expenses, how much I'm spending to run my breeding room, basically, my snakes and everything, from bedding to food to water, if you buy your water for your snakes, to even electricity. Um, Most people don't think about their electricity. If you're breeding in your house, you don't really have to think about it. It does. I know if you are set up as a business, you could take a certain amount of square feet and deduct that from your electric bill, so you get a little break on that. I'm working on learning that as well.
You know, let
I'm
me
not a.
let me jump in on that for a minute. The downside, Joe, let me just lay the cards out in my opinion. The downside of going legit or making a business, which is as simple as having now, let me give the classic disclaimer. I am not a tax expert. You need a CPA.
I was just about to say that.
Okay. You need a CPA. Don't do this on your own. I've never done this on my own. I also have never lost a penny paying a CPA. I always make more on my taxes than if I hadn't used that CPA. And I don't mean CPA is somebody you got to build a relationship with, not that you walk into on, next to the payday loan place. That's not what I'm talking about. But your CPA will help you calculate how much, if you raise your rodents, your animals, and you run your reptile business in your home, your CPA will help you calculate what percentage of your home you use for this business. And that same percentage gets applied to your water bill, your electric bill. If you have natural gas or oil that you use to heat the building or the facility with, that can be applied to it. And business and entrepreneurship is beautiful in our tax system because of the things that you need truly to get in the game of running a business. And businesses drive so much of our economy. And this is not political speak. This is my firm economic belief. But you get so many opportunities. If you vend at one show, that vehicle that you need to drive to that show, that suddenly becomes part of your business. Suddenly, now between my music and my I keep saying rodent, my reptile ball pythons business, I use a vehicle quite a lot to be out on the road touring. If I go to shows, if I go work for somebody else at a vending at a show, if I'm building relationships, all of those things. So I cover a lot of that in the video coming up, and I didn't just jump in to plug that, but I'd love for you to see it. But
you did. It's okay. I would have did the same thing.
Hey, look, the smartest guy in this room ain't me. It might be Kai, but Kai, look, portion of your internet service and your phone can be deducted as well.
Yep.
All of your feeders, that's a business expense. you do have to keep track of your inventory, and it helps to have your CPA help you understand how inventory works and costs of goods sold, COGS, work, because you're going to have to calculate that, but they can calculate it for you. That's what you're paying them for. And
exactly.
I promise when you pay them, you're going to be getting more money back than you. Just like we just said, none of us pop into this world knowing everything or being amazing at this. Those CPAs have gone to school and been certified to help you with all of that. So, John says I keep every single receipt from the reptile store. Keep it on a spreadsheet. Every time you spend a penny, just make a note in there, and you can organize it later. And you probably have to take a weekend at the end of the year where you get everything in a nice, neat package that you could take to your CPA, and they can go, all right, now here's where your expenses are. Here's where your income is. And here's what you do need to pay taxes on. But I could tell you, they will find things that are business legitimate expenses. This nice camera I bought, this is my marketing expense for music and for ball pythons. I don't know where it's going to land. I don't care. I'm going to take it to the CPA, and she's going to figure that out. Yeah, Kai might be cheaper than me. Kai says if you're single, marry a CPA. Hey, look, man, it'll change your life. I don't know how happy you'll be, but you could buy, they say money doesn't buy happiness, but it goes a long way, man. It does.
It does.
Nice things, doesn't it?
It definitely can help.
All right. Well, look, man, we have done 90 solid minutes here, and I always bill this just as a 60-minute show, and I always want to leave people wanting more, and I definitely would love to have you come back, GERSHON, sometime soon. Those of y'all that joined late, if you don't know, GERSHON has his own channel, which you probably figured out. I'm going to put it back up here. Again, it's GPSnakes, but he also has his own live show weekly that he does identical ball python content and industry hobby content, but he's one of the good guys that looks out for everybody in the hobby, and he's been at it for many years, been on YouTube. I think your first video was 2006. I did a little research on you, man.
Yeah.
Now it might not be ball python related, but he's got the staying power, and as we've talked about to exhaustion in this video, staying power doesn't happen unless you work your butt off at it, and I have much respect for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually have a live coming up tomorrow with TNT Balls at 7 Central Standard Time. So tomorrow on my channel, check that out. Okay. I'm actually looking for more. I'm trying to expand outside the ball python and get other reptile enthusiasts like monitors, lizards, different snakes. I'm looking for people with YouTube channels that do those animals. So if you know anybody, please hit me up. Let me know their YouTube channel so I can try to contact them and get them involved. Because I know ball pythons is so big in the reptile community itself. We're our own planet sometimes. But there's also other reptiles out there that people want to talk about and get to learn those people. So I wanted to really be a reptile community. So I'm looking to get them on season 2.
Very good. I wish you the most success. Bod, so we didn't talk about this. Jeremy Bod, he says, where are you located at, GERSHON?
Oh, right now I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. So yeah, I'm in Madison, Wisconsin.
Good Midwestern guy here. My wife is from Minnesota, so she has a fine affinity for her Wisconsin neighbors. So hey, everybody, I want to tell y'all, the end of the year is kind of a sentimental time for no good reason other than we just made a full loop around the sun, and we're going to do it again, hopefully, and hopefully we do it a little bit better. But it's been a killer year. Y'all's support has been phenomenal. You make working this hard fun. You make working with people like GERSHON a blast. I get to do this and reap a lot of rewards, the financial part being fairly minimal, as if you watch the video later this week, you'll find out. But the fulfillment is really just fantastic, and I learn a lot and I gain a lot. I am going to make good on my promise and share that video. But as you probably heard a couple moments ago, I screwed it up. So we're going to, it's just going to get bumpy. And I want to make sure that I thank Gershon properly. Thank you very, very much for being here. It's been a real pleasure. And again, I do want to do this again. And you're always welcome to come hang out, drink a beer, drink a water while I drink a beer. We're going to figure out this. We're going to figure out this like guests party that we have. I don't know if I'll have time in the next 2 weeks before, the end of the holiday season, or if we'll do it in January sometime. But I hope you'll come back. And if you
I'll be more than happy.
If you ever need a fill-in or a last-minute guest, you let me know. I absolutely. Return the favor.
No, we're not gonna fill you in. We'll get you a proper show.
Hey man,
no worries. We'll get you a proper show.
Well, let's do it. So, all right, those 15 of y'all that have stuck around. Here's the quick music portion. I will not. I wouldn't say poison. I won't taint the ball python waters in the future. So this is a one-time deal. You can follow me on Adam Shira Music is my music handle. And I don't know how well this will go. I'm going to share a screen tab of the Facebook video that I posted. I play Irish music in pubs, and this is just one little snippet of me and the fiddle player. I'll say goodnight. Thank you all very, very, very much. Gershon, stick around if you can put up with the fiddle music for a minute or two. I'll catch up with you off screen.
No problem.
All right.
Thanks everybody for coming by. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me on the show. Greatly appreciate it. Definitely willing to come back. This is fun. Love talking to you.
All right, we will do it, and I'll keep the power on next time. We'll start on time next time.
I mean, that could be our thing.
No, it's not going to be our thing. That's what we don't want. Your laptop's going to be done updating, and we're going to. Hey, I couldn't have done it without you, man. The show would have been dead. I would have had to just start the whole thing over, man. So, thanks for the quick work bailing me out, everybody.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Let me figure out how to share this screen. Enjoy it. Again, Adam Shira Music is the handle, and here's some me and a fiddle player going to town. Cheers, guys. All right. Stick with me. Oh, no, that's not the one. Hang on. Here we go. Please would you tell me who is she? That's Matt on the fiddle there. All right, guys, that's it. No more on the Ball Python channel. All right, it's like worlds colliding. I feel like George Costanza, all awkward right now. So I hope to see y'all in a pub nearby, primarily in Florida, but you never know where I'll get out to. I will be in Destin, Florida, January 14th, New Year's Day. I will be here in Jacksonville at Finn McCool's, and I'll be down in Tampa and Punta Gorda area in the spring as well. So cheers, everybody. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. We're going to play the real music getting out of here. It's been the night of technical difficulties. I'm just freaking in. Good night, everybody.